Creating HDAs can be incredibly beneficial for your workflow. So let's look at some of the things that you can do with them to make them a little bit more user friendly and just easier to make in general. So I'm just in Solaris here. I've just dropped down a cop net. So these aren't going to be specific to cops, but there's a couple things I want to show with cops. So we're going to just build something in cops. So first of all, let's just make something or have something that we can make into a HDA. So I'm just going to drop down like a fractal noise. This isn't going to be necessarily anything that's really particularly useful, but it's going to allow us to just show some things that we can do. So I'm going to drop down a blur after that. And then let's say this is all we wanted to do. One thing that I like to do, at least if I have inputs, I'll drop down like a null, or if I have something wired into like this fractal noise, I'd say like I would wire this in to something like a null into whatever. And then I just make another null and have this being wired into the null on our out. That way, when we go to create a subnet, we can just click this little button, and then it's going to just create those inputs for us, and we don't have to, add them or anything like that. So we can set these to whatever we want. Let's set this to mono for now, and we'll just output a mono here. And then we can dive inside. First of all, if we want to create like an interface with this, we need to come up to this little cogwheel, and we'll do edit parameter interface. And the first thing that I do is just kind of start off by hiding this input and the outputs. So I'll select them all and just make them invisible. And then I just drop a folder over, and you can name this whatever you want. I like to just call it settings. And then I like to set this to borderless. And when we do that, it just makes it so that this doesn't pop up anywhere. If we have this tab or like a symbol, it's going to pop up here. So set that to borderless, and it just kind of makes it invisible there. Also, when I'm building HDAs, I like to I select my subnet here, and I just make a copy of this pane tab, and I just lock it so that if I ever close out of this, I can just, and let's say I'm in this on a different node, I don't have to jump back up. I can just jump in here, edit parameter interface, and bring that right back up, and then I'm right back where I was at. So let's say we want to copy over a bunch of the different settings. So in particular, like this fractal noise, let's say we wanted to copy over all of this. We can, first of all, the easiest way to just bring over different things into your network or into your parameter interface is to just click and drag them over. And once I click apply, you can see that that's going to automatically link everything up. So I'm going to go ahead and just undo that because we want to bring over the entire thing. So if we come to this from nodes, we can actually go into our subnet here, and we can select this fractal noise, and we can select basically everything that we want. Let's say we wanted to bring over everything from this little range folder. I can just click this little arrow, and we've got that brought over. If I wanted to bring over the pattern, we can do the same thing here. You can click apply. It's going to link all those up. And if I look back on our subnet, you can see what that is actually going to look like there. And we can, bring those out of that folder, or if we wanted, or just put them in our settings folder actually. And we are all set up like that. So we can also do some different things with our little inputs here. So let's say, you actually kind of see this here. This is one of the things that you can do with this. You can hide different parameters or have them disabled. Let's see. So we have this jitter, which is not available to us. So if we change this over, let's see, noise type whirly A. So if we don't have this set to whirly, we're not going to get that. So this is going to work based off of the name of the parameter, so not the label. So the label is what you actually see here. The name is if you were to hover over one of these, you see that the amplitude, its parameter name is actually amp, and you see that there. So the thing's in parentheses. So let's say we wanted to set, or hide one of these. If we wanted to, let's say, hide the center, if the value of the amplitude is greater than something, I don't know. So we could do amp is greater than, let's say 0.5. You can click apply here. And as soon as I go over 0.5, you can see that it's going to hide that center. So not necessarily a practical use, but you see with the jitter here, the noise type, if it's not equal to that whirly A or that whirly B, so if it's not one of these whirly cellulars, you're not going to get that. So that's how they hide and unhide things in the interface when you're, working with your nodes just in your day-to-day. So if you go to set them up, just use that internal name there, and then you can do all sorts of different things with that. You can disable them, hide them, kind of do whatever you want with them. So there's also a way, if we wanted to set up a viewer state here, not really a viewer state, but if we wanted to, some nodes, if you press enter in the viewport, you have this little kind of viewer state that pops up, I guess. And then some of them have handles in the viewport that you can actually use. So let's say we wanted to do that with our offset. First of all, if we want to do that, we'll just accept all this. We actually need to make this into an HDA. So let's go ahead and let's call this something. Let's do just example HDA. And let's click this create digital asset. So just right click, create digital asset. And then this asset label is going to be the name in your tab menu. Then you have this submenu. So you can put this into whatever folder you want. If you click this, there's different folders that you can do. You can put this into, you can type in literally whatever you want in here. So let's say we wanted to do just my HDA. And then if we wanted to put it into a subfolder, we just do this little slash, and then we call those just example. And then we can add a namespace if we wanted to. We can just add whatever we wanted this. We could do examples in here too. Examples, and then example HDA, and then we can see our save path here. And if we want to add the type category, so if it's a cop HDA, then you can add in that, or if it's in SOPs, it would add SOPs, DOPs, it would add whatever. Personally, I don't really like to add the type category. You can also play around with the location of where you want to save it and how the namespace kind of works. I usually just leave it like this. And then we can go ahead and just click create. And it's going to bring up this little menu right here. It took us completely out to the wrong spot. And our HDA is in here. So if I actually right click here, we can see that we have my HDA, and then we have that subfolder with that example, and then we have our HDA in here. So it's all working as intended there. And actually, I forgot to mention, but where it has this, if we go to digital asset, and then I can click this increase major version. So this part right here, if we leave this uppercase, it's going to have the actual name be uppercase when you do that. So you'll want to make that lowercase, because it's common in Houdini to drop down nulls, right? And then we call them out, whatever. So you don't want those to be uppercase, because they will actually pop up at the top of your tree or whatever when you're searching for nodes. So make sure you set those to lowercase. So if we wanted to have a handle in the viewport, we can come on over to, well, first of all, we need to make a note of what we want to actually use as our parameter. So in this case, I'm just going to, let's just do the offset. So this one's called off. So we're going to come to interactive, and then we have some different things here. We'll come to this handle bindings. And there's a whole load of these in here. The one that we're going to use is a transform, just this transform right here. Or actually, sorry, it's this transformer right here, this X form. So we'll click on that. And then this has a whole bunch of different things in here. But what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to this TX, which is the translate. And we're going to set this to whatever parameter that we want. So this is our offset. So we'll do off X because this is transform X. And then the Y, we will do off Y. Now, if I click apply here and click accept, and when I press enter in the viewport now, we have a handle that will allow me to offset and move this around, which can be pretty handy and just makes it a little bit more user-friendly for what you're doing in your HDAs. So the last thing that I want to just touch on is automatic input selection for your HDAs, specifically in COPS. So if I go ahead and right click and click on type properties here, we can come back over to the input and output. And actually, I guess while I'm here in this basic thing, you can set a HDA like image here for this. You can load internal ones. So if we wanted to copy over one, I don't know, like the fractal noise one, we can right click type properties and we can just copy this and apply that. And then if I just close this out and click apply, you can see that that's going to apply that same one. Or you can build your own, and you can actually, as long as you just select your file and keep this embed icon and operator on your HDA check, then it's going to embed that in the file. So when you send it off to whoever, if somebody else uses it, then it's going to retain that. So if we want to make this automatically select whatever input type that we have, so we have an input here. If we wanted to have, mono UVs, RGBs, we can just add some signatures here. So UV, mono, RGB, and then RGBA. We will just go ahead and change these over. So we'll keep this one to UV, set this one to RGB, and this one to RGBA. And then I always go through and just change all of these to match. So I'll do UV, RGB, RGBA, UV, RGB, and then RGBA. And then we want to do the same thing with the outputs. So if you don't change these, they're not going to output the correct thing. So make sure that you do these as well. And then as long as you have this allow automatic signature selection selected, you should be all set. So if I click apply here, we have this signature set to select automatically. And then notice here that this has this default set right here. That's because we didn't change this name right here. So if we want this to reflect the mono channel, then we actually need to change that as well, even though this signature name here will not let you change that default. So I click apply now, you can see that's changed to mono. So now if I look at our HDA, we can make sure we're matching the current definition. We can come in here and we can feed it a fractal noise or whatever we want. And we can come in and change the input here. So it's on mono right now. We set this to UV. It's going to error out, but it's because of what it's put into. We could, let's just allow editing of the contents, and let's actually just pass this through for this example here. And you can see that that updates here. So if we set this back to mono, it's going to work. RGB, it works. And then RGBA, it works as well. And we still would have our handle here. It's not going to work because we don't have that being passed through, but we still have all of that available to us. So pretty cool stuff. I actually just found out while I was building one of the HDAs that I was working on that you could set these handles super easy. I never knew how to set them. So pretty simple stuff, just hopping in here and then setting these interactive elements to kind of whatever you want. And there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do in here. So definitely play with them, look through them all, and mess with them, see what all you can come up with. but that gives you a good start on how to get those set up. So, and you notice too that even though that was a transform, we only have, since we only set those 2 channels, we don't have that third plane. If we were to, I don't know, we could set this to, let's say the Z channel controls the amplitude. I don't know. So we could do that, and oh, I guess it's not going to, I guess we probably need to refresh. Yep, that's what it is. So now as we have this, we can adjust our amplitude with the Z. So maybe not something that you would ever do, but I guess it's there if you wanted to do it that way. And then you can still move them around. So you can create some nice little interactive stuff using that. I think that's really cool, and it's really easy to set up. So anyways, if you want to learn more about HDAs, I guess let me know and I can try to show what else you can do with them. I also just had to learn how the COPS pickers work. So I made it for this ID sample node, but these little things here, you can set those up with a little like viewer state type thing. And then you can use the little COPS picker to set those, which is super convenient. Very cool thing that's new in 21. So if you want to learn how to do that, I can show that as well. But anyways, hopefully this has helped you out. If you want to learn more about HDAs, like I said, let me know, and I can try to cover some more stuff. It's something that I do not super frequently, but I create some HDAs here and there. So I have a little bit of experience doing it. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.